with our Humane at Home on Fridays now. So every Friday at 4 o'clock, we'll be coming to you live with different types of segments each Friday. So the first Friday is going to be wildlife focused. Today is National Wildlife Day, and this day is really there to bring awareness to all of the endangered and threatened species that we have around the world and what we can do to help them out. Now, we always love to think globally, but we always want to think locally as well. So Project Wildlife, we believe every day is National Wildlife Day. We're always trying to teach the community members about the wonderful benefits that wild animals bring to us and why we want them around and how special, truly special San Diego is. San Diego is one of the most biodiverse regions in the world. So all the different habitats that we have here, from mountains, sage scrub, chaparral, wetlands, grasslands, we have a lot of different places for wild animals to live here in San Diego. And so we come across wild animals all the time. Now today especially, we want people just to take an extra second, look around you, look up, look down, look all around at the different animals that share our neighborhoods with us. There are a lot of wildlife that love to be in our backyard, checking out the different grasses and flowers and plants that we have around. And so it makes San Diego super, super special. So we're going to talk to you a little bit after, and we're going to introduce you to a friend of mine, but we're going to teach you a few things that you can do today to help out local wildlife and to really celebrate National Wildlife Day, because it really is a special day for us to kind of just sit back, think about a little bit more about the natural world around us. And then this weekend, where it's going to get really, really warm, we might be staying indoors a little bit, or maybe going to some of those lakes or those beaches. So things that we can do to help those animals out that live in those environments as well. But first off, we have a special friend to introduce you to today. If you have been following us on some of our Humane at Homes, you might have met this guy already, but we always love to share. This is Chuck. He is our Western Screech Owl Ambassador. And now Chuck came into Project Wildlife in 2018. Now, one thing that we always want to encourage people to do, especially at nighttime when you're driving, is to be aware of all of those nocturnal species. Now, anyone know what the word nocturnal means? It's those special animals that are awake at the difficulties of doing Facebook Lives. Wonderful. So one of the things we need to really be careful about with our nocturnal animals is driving a little bit more slowly and being aware that there might be wild animals coming out and crossing those roads to get to a different location. Now, Chuck's injury, when he came in, the whole left side of his face was really inflamed. So it looks like he might have collided with a car when he was hunting for his food. Now, we did allow some time for that swelling to go down, but unfortunately, we had to remove his left eye to prevent infection from spreading across his body. Now, with a one-eyed owl, it's probably not the best to get them released, but we also don't believe his hearing is that great at all either. So, poor eyesight, poor hearing, not going to be a successful animal back in the wild. And that was when Chuck was deemed non-releasable and able to become an education ambassador for Project Wildlife. Now, screech owls are all over San Diego, my friends. Now, like I said, it's going to be really warm this weekend, but if you want to go out around nighttime and listen to the things that are happening around you, if you happen to hear this sound, you might have a screech owl around your house. And let's see if we can get this sound, because no one wants to hear Miss Carly making the sound. But you'll hear this little triple, kind of sounds like a ping pong ball, right? So if you're out at nighttime and you hear that sound, you are listening to a screech owl. Not every owl doesn't make the same sound. So our great horned owls hoot. Our barn owls actually make a screeching sound, and the screech owls make that little triple hoot, toot, 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 toot. And that's actually going to be really the best way you're going to know that they're around, because you can see how small Chuck is and his wonderful coloration. So he camouflages really well into his environment. He likes to live in hollowed out trees and like the nice little holes in the trees that they have, sometimes that squirrels make. And so sometimes it can be really tough to actually see them in the wild, and you're probably more often going to hear them in the wild. But like some of our other national and global wildlife friends, they're all facing habitat destruction. So we really want to make sure that we're trying to preserve as much habitat as we possibly can to help out our wild friends. So the biggest issue about cutting down some of those trees is that we're possibly cutting down habitats for a lot of our wild animals that live right here next door to us as well across the globe. So it's definitely one of our biggest things is trying to teach people about habitat destruction and maybe planting more trees around our area to help provide more suitable habitat for our wild neighbors that we have around. But not only is that a big issue, my friends, trash entanglement and animals getting into our trash can be a big issue. And so we want to make sure that we're picking up our trash, disposing of it properly, recycling, reducing, and reusing whenever we possibly can. If anyone wants to, if you drink water out of a water bottle now, those plastic water bottles, maybe consider getting a reusable water bottle and putting water into that so we're not using as much plastic anymore. And then if you're ever out at those beaches or those lakes this weekend and you see trash lying around, be careful, be clean, and maybe use some gloves. But if we can pick up that trash, then it'll prevent it from getting into our waterways and injuring the animals that live in those ecosystems. So it's a really, really fun day today. My National Wildlife Day is really putting a spotlight on our wildlife and how important they are. Does anyone know what owls like to eat? What do you like the Jeopardy? Do, 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 do. Rodents. Do we want rodents around our house? No. So we want our built-in rodent control, and so we want to plant those trees and to make sure that we're putting habitats out for them, or maybe actually building barn owl boxes or putting up raptor perches to encourage some of those animals that have rodents as their diet to come around the house, and that they can be your built-in rodent control and you don't even need to pay them. So all of our wild animals, they all have jobs, my friends. And a lot of their jobs actually help us out. So learn about them. Learn about the animals that live in your backyard and right next door to you. And you want to try to help them out as much as possible. Maybe plant a native plant garden so some of these bird species that are coming through, they have the fresh food available for them that they are naturally eating out there in the wild. There are a ton of different things that you can do, my friends, to help out our wild neighbors. I'm so sorry with this mess. That we can do to help out our wild neighbors. And we just really want to make sure that we're respecting them. We respect their space. We're not encroaching them. We're not enticing them to come closer to our neighborhoods on purpose, but we want to be able to help them out in the best way possible. Now Chuck here, you can obviously see he is sleeping. He's a little unimpressed with my presentation today, but this is what he naturally does anyways. So it's not going to be until the sun starts to go down that he'll start to perk up a little bit. But he has this wonderful new enclosure that one of our wonderful donors has purchased for us. And so now he lives a nice little life of luxury out here. He has a wonderful, nice breeze coming through. He's shaded, he has water, he has shelter. He has everything that he could possibly need to live his life out in the most natural environment possible without fear of predators, of course, as well. Now, go out today, my friends, look around, go out maybe tonight or later in the evening just so you're not in this sweltering heat that's coming across upon us this weekend. But like I mentioned, San Diego is so special. You can find wild animals all over the place, and just makes San Diego one of the most special regions here in California and our nation, I would like to think. But do we have any questions at all, Miss Jordan?
What other animals should we be looking out for when we're walking around San Diego?
So that's a great question. It's what other animals should we be looking out for when we're walking around or out and about in San Diego? And it's all animals we should be looking out for. Thankfully, baby season is kind of coming to a close right now, so we don't have to be super worried about finding baby birds or baby squirrels at the time. But always being aware of your surroundings is going to be really important, my friends. And especially at nighttime, just be on the lookout for those opossums, the skunks, the raccoons. Opossums and skunks in general have really poor eyesight, and they can't really see when that car is coming or your pet is coming towards them. So give them that space, let them cross the road or let them get out of your yard first before you let your pet out, to really help out our local wildlife. But if you ever have a question on whether a wild animal needs your help, you can always go to our website, sdhumane.org, or you can give us a call at our call center as well, and we'll try to talk you through it to help you on whether or not you need to intervene or not. Another question.
And it is going to be hot this weekend. What can we do to help our wild friends?
So it's going to be hot this weekend. What can we do to help our wild friends? You really don't have to do a whole lot, my friends. They know exactly what to do when it gets super hot or super cold. You know what they're probably going to be doing? They're going to be hunkering down and not expending a ton of energy. We don't need to put out extra water for them. Again, we don't need to encourage them to come for other resources. If you plant the native plants, that's really great, but the water resource, they can find it all on their own. And so there's not really big of a need to put out any water for them. But if you ever find anyone that's, again, they might be on the ground or something might be an issue, but an animal might need a little bit help at that point in time. But just keep your eyes open and look around, and for the most part, when they know it's hot, they don't really do a whole lot either. They just kind of sit and relax and let that heat wave pass just like we should be doing. Any other questions?
I think that's great advice.
That's wonderful, my friends. So that's the biggest thing, is that we just want to make sure that we're not putting something out that they don't need to come in, and we want to just make sure, like I said, they're good at finding their own food, they're good at finding their resources, but we just want to make sure we're not doing anything that doesn't help them. And again, being aware of them, making sure we're just keeping our eyes out for them. Driving a little bit slower at nighttime is always a good thing as well. But like I said, if you have any questions at all, please go to our website or give us a phone call and we can help you out as much as possible. Well, thanks for joining us, my friends. Next Friday, join Miss Stacy, and it is it's actually Fire Disaster Preparedness Month. And so she's going to be going over how to pack a kit for your pet if you have to ever evacuate. And so tune in next Friday at 4 p.m. and we will see you guys in a month or so with another wonderful wildlife segment.